There's been a lot of talk about the great resignation, but that's not what I'm going to be here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about breaking away from society standards and pursuing your dream life because life is just too short to do anything else. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, welcome back. My name is Dom, and I help people to step into their truth and power. When I lost my corporate IT job of 18 years without severance, I had already started my education to become a certified master coach. But my plan was to originally earn my certifications, build my business on the side for a couple of years, and then quit my full time job. But being that I had just been laid off without severance, I was now faced with a different choice that I had to make. Do I get another full time IT job, or do I jump right into becoming an entrepreneur and doing what my heart was really leading me to do? It felt like such a huge risk to jump right into a new career at 50 years old without time to finish my education and build some momentum in my new business. On the other hand, just the thought of having to start a new IT job in a new company just had a really sour feeling inside. But another feeling I had inside was fear of not having enough and the fear of not being good enough if I were to jump into this new career. At this same time, as I mentioned before, I was turning 50 and I had started to prepare myself for a midlife career shift. I had already started living more simply. I moved after my divorce from a 4 bedroom home on a quarter acre of property into a 2 bedroom condo that is half the size. So I had to get rid of a lot of stuff to fit in this smaller size home. I had worked to pay off my car and pay down my debt. So by the time this happened, I was properly positioned to make such a leap, but I still had fears. And what I realized was that my relationship with money just needed a massive upgrade if I was going to be successful. So after saying yes to myself in doing this, I also realized how much I valued my time more than anything else. Because I was turning 50, I was starting to realize that I had a lot less time than I originally thought. I realized that this is the youngest that I was going to be for the entire rest of my life. And I didn't want to have any regrets. So it was important to begin doing the things that I loved to do. It became like the primary thing. So I did this exercise that helped give me more perspective on taking the leap. And I'm going to share that with you. Here is the exercise. Imagine being 85 years old and reflecting back on your situation right now. What would make your 85-year-old version of you happy versus regretful? Would sticking with a job that you hated just to make some money rather than going out to pursue the things that you really enjoy and love, would that make you happy? Personally, this was one of the things I did to help me to begin to move forward and not pursue another job in corporate IT, even though I didn't know how I was going to do it quite yet. At the end of the day, I just want to have full ownership of my time because, in the grand scheme of things, our time goes so fast and we have so little of it. And it's what made me realize that my time is of the most valuable commodity that I have. One of my biggest fears is being 85 and looking out over the ocean and thinking about and regretting all of the things that I didn't do because I was too worried or too afraid or too much in fear of something happening. I've already lived so much of my life in fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough, fear of not having enough, fear of failure. My relationship with money was rooted from a place of scarcity. And so I needed to do the work to change that. And although this exercise was powerful for me, it is also flawed too, because it also assumes that I'm going to become 85 years old someday. And the reality of it is, some of us will and some of us won't. But my very first friend that I made when I was just 2 years old and I graduated high school with, and then kept in contact with over the years, passed away during this time that I was in my job transition at the young age of 50. It was yet another realization that seemed to affirm my choice. The reality is, no day is guaranteed for us. I could die tomorrow, or I could live to be well over 100. We just don't know. But knowing that I could die sooner rather than later, do I want to spend that time at a soul sucking job or doing what I would love to do? And for me personally, I just didn't love working in corporate America or in IT anymore. From my experience, this was one of the most powerful ways I've used to help me make decisions like this. So, do you have trouble following your intuition and listening to where your heart is leading you to go? I'd like to offer a way to help you to break through the fear, and this is called fear setting. On a blank piece of paper, create 3 columns. And in the first column, you're going to write all of your worst case scenarios. Write down everything that could possibly happen in that column. In the second column, write prevention of the worst case. So you're going to write down everything you're going to do to help prevent the worst case scenario from happening. And then in the third column, you're going to write repair. And in this column, you're going to write the things that you will do to repair if the worst case scenario does in fact happen. Once you fill in those 3 columns, then think about the benefits of success. Imagine yourself succeeding. What are the benefits you're going to get to experience? And then realize what the cost of inaction and not making a change will be. Some fears are valid, and some of those things will need to be addressed. Being in a lot of debt and quitting your job is not a wise thing to do. Positioning yourself financially is wise. So positioning yourself to have minimal or no debt and to have at least 6 months of living savings would be the minimum I would recommend. For some, you might need more than that. But whatever feels right for you, this will help you to begin getting focused to position yourself to be able to begin trusting and following where your heart is leading you to go. So before I conclude, I know that not everyone is in a position or is able to do this. This is not for everybody. I realize that. It is for those who are ready to do something different that feeds them from the inside out instead of from the outside in. Yes, there will be uncertainty. Yes, there will be some risk. But we have to be really careful not to smother ourselves in our own safety so much that it prevents us from growing and becoming. So I'm curious, what was the most powerful nugget of inspiration for you in this video today? Share it in the comments below with me because I would love to inspire you and support you in doing more of that. I feel beyond grateful and privileged to have been able to have had this experience. And I was in the thick of the experience. I had a hard time feeling the gratitude for it. But when I shifted the perspective, opportunities opened up for me, and I've been able to share and coach others in this stuff in a very similar, effective kind of way. Most importantly, I now know that time is actually our greatest asset. So I want to thank you. I appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me here today, and I hope you received some inspirational value from it. And so until I connect with you again for my next video, be well, be healthy, and be empowered.